Crown has you covered. Start your day with the first word. Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the working lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First word for your morning sports. The working lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Midday in the Queen City, business is booming, but they are cleaning up again. And it's Cincinnati versus Vancouver, both on the field and off. Let's do lunch. Cincinnati is a city that means business. Fortune 500 company HQs, renowned institutions like Children's Hospital and the Cincinnati Zoo, and letters that everyone here knows: TQL, GE, CVG, UC, and X. It's also a city that's large enough for new ideas to take root and grow. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and you're in business. I'm Jack Crumley, and this is The Working Lunch. Well, hey there. Welcome to The Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. This is our hour-long business show here on The Crown, where we bring you headlines on what companies and businesses are doing all around the tri-state. We bring you exclusive interviews with CEOs and local leaders, and we try to squeeze in a bite to eat, maybe something to drink before you go back to face the afternoon. Glad to have you here on this day. Starting off with Cincinnati business headlines, it's a bit of a shock once again, a 1-2 punch in the eastern part of Cincinnati, cleaning up again after more big flooding. Take a look. So now that is video posted online by Cincinnati City Councilman Mark Jeffries as he was just south of Hyde Park Square yesterday afternoon when all that rain came down again, flooding multiple homes and businesses after the blast that they already got this past Friday. Hyde Park and then even down the hill into Mount Lookout and more, they all got it again. Mayor Aftab Pureval declaring a state of emergency, basements and more, with more flooding again. Should point out that the Cincinnati Metropolitan Sewer District Director held a news conference after last week's downpour on Friday evening. She said that there was so much rain in that Friday event, 5 inches fell in just a few hours. She also says that in those 5 inches, the system didn't fail necessarily. It was just overwhelmed, and that this was just a rarity in the weather here. But that is still an unexpected cost, even if you have insurance, if you're a homeowner, if you live in a rental, or if you've got a business. Even if you do have insurance, that is a tremendous new challenge to deal with, and happening in nearly back-to-back days is a real frustration. The National Weather Service says this time around yesterday, a tornado did hit farther east in Claremont County. All that as the cleanup continues from what hit last week, in the hope of at least getting maybe some help from the state of Ohio. Also, still a lot of questions about what can be done to prevent this kind of flooding again, even if it was a freak rain event. A lot of questions on that. It was a sea of people gathering at the banks. Now we've got some numbers. The banks putting out a thank you to all the soccer fans. You can see them there in just one instance, who all came out to watch the FIFA World Cup men's matches. Foot traffic at the banks was up 19% year over year from June 11th to July 19th. That is over 350,000 people walking around during that time. Certainly things like the Savannah Bananas game and the Noah Khan concert helped add to that total. And it wasn't just foot traffic. Total unique web traffic visits to the bank's website were up 80% during that time, year over year. Nearly 275,000 social media impressions were made as well. The bank says it is going to host a soccer viewing village again next year for the USA women's national team. Other headlines today: not quite a grand opening, but already a grand closing. That is a picture of the former Hoffman School. That's in Evanston. It's on a piece of land that was set to be developed, but the Business Courier is reporting today that deal has fallen through. It's something that would have saved the aging former school, as the owner of the land, a holding company run by former Bengal Chinadum Ndukwe, has been working to turn it into a $67 million mixed-use development, which the plans would have torn down the old school. And Ndukwe says that renovating things just doesn't work financially from his perspective. So the DeSales Community Urban Redevelopment Corporation had plans to acquire the land. But that plan has now reportedly been scrapped kind of abruptly. Don't have any word yet on a new future for that more than 100-year-old building, or what the plans for the land it sits on are going down the road. It was an indoor groundbreaking yesterday. We told you about it. Now 3CDC's put up some pictures from Tuesday's ceremony to begin construction on the big Cincinnati Marriott Downtown Hotel. That is going up right next to the newly renovated convention center. They had to have those shovels inside because, as you might remember, it did rain yesterday. Local and state leaders, reps from Portman Holdings, the Port, Visit Cincy, and others were all there for the start of the work on this $828 million total plan that'll put a 700-room hotel right in the heart of downtown. Pivoting a bit, now for today's Big Bite. Now that the FIFA World Cup is done, Major League Soccer is getting into the second half of its regular season. And after talking yesterday about various community programs that professional sports franchises have in this city, the Bengals, the Reds, and FC Cincinnati, I wanted to go a little bit more into perspective on that. We had Charlie Frank on from the Reds Community Fund yesterday. Great guest. He gave us some insight into how much the Reds do compared to other franchises in other markets. It was a really great interview. You should make it a point to check that out. There's a situation going on right now in soccer that I also kind of wanted to compare things to. In town tonight, the Vancouver Whitecaps. They are playing FC Cincinnati here at TQL Stadium. That starts tonight. This is a soccer franchise in Vancouver that's been around for more than 50 years. Like FC Cincinnati, they are part of one of the great rivalries and older rivalries in MLS, the Cascadia Cup. They are one of the top teams in Major League Soccer, first place in the Western Conference. Vancouver, as part of its position geographically, hosted World Cup matches here in 2026, and commentators and players alike praised the atmosphere there. Yet, there are a lot of questions about the future of that franchise, specifically financial questions. Take a look at this.
The Vancouver Whitecaps making moves to potentially secure their future in this city. According to reports, the team has made an offer to Pavco, the Crown Corporation that runs BC Place, and the provincial government to take over operations at the stadium.
They would operate the venue, they would control the dates.
Michael McCall first broke the news on his soccer podcast Away from the Numbers. He says it would be a smart move as the Whitecaps would gain more control over revenue.
Which has been the big driving force. There's a big disparity between the money that other clubs are making in Major League Soccer and what the Whitecaps can make.
The Whitecaps have long faced financial challenges, with the league citing operational constraints around scheduling and venue access have created untenable conditions for the team.
But you've had other instances where the Whitecaps have had to play a game over in Victoria, they've had to play in Portland, a home game. So this would mean that they would control that, they would know what dates they might need, not book concerts, not book trade shows, not book other events that would clash with that. I think it's a win-win as well for Pavco. I don't really know how much appetite Pavco have for running the venue when they've got lots of other issues that they need to focus on.
So that's a really good recap from City News out of Vancouver. BC Place is the stadium where the Whitecaps and several other Canadian teams all play. The stadium is owned by Pavco, which is a Crown Corporation. That's a thing in Canada that is structured like a private company, but it is fully owned by the Canadian government. BC Place has been standing since the 1980s and has undergone a number of renovations. It's just a different approach to big stadiums in that part of the world. BC Place currently has the largest cable-supported retractable roof in the world, coming off of their last big renovation about a decade ago. The issue for the Whitecaps is that current team ownership says that because they don't own the stadium, they've missed out on hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, money from parking, money from concerts, and more. The Whitecaps are capped, if you will, and I wish you would, at getting 1/10 of the beer sales made at BC Place. That's a wild deal. MLS Commissioner Don Garber has said that a new stadium deal is a strict requirement of keeping this soccer team in Vancouver. Whitecaps management in just the last week has made a bid to Pavco to take over full operations and scheduling for BC Place. It is unclear what the path forward is on that. But stay with me now. Vancouver's issues really date back to 2011 when some seeds were planted when they joined MLS. This is the part that's going to sound familiar to you. The team was required to have their own soccer-specific stadium. So this is Nippert Stadium. FC Cincinnati played and grew there on the campus of the University of Cincinnati for years. The big local push to get FCC into Major League Soccer involved building a stadium just for the team in an urban core. That's an MLS requirement. And the plan ultimately landed on the West End. I don't know if you remember all the talk about the stadium possibly being built in Oakley? There was quite a bit of an opposition locally from the people who live in the West End and others, with questions from business owners and more. There were demands by city leaders, demands by the Cincinnati Public School Board, all trying to work things out to build this stadium in the West End. This was the case for Vancouver in 2011, but unlike Cincinnati, partnerships in Canada faltered. Relationships were strained. Community leaders were unable to get a collaborative deal done. And it's that lack of collaboration that really is the difference maker. That's a proposal of what Vancouver could have in a waterfront stadium there. Vancouver's soccer-specific stadium would have been downtown on the waterfront, but the Port Authority there turned down a land exchange deal. Neighborhood coalitions railed against the development proposal. Vancouver City Council demanded that the soccer team come up with a comprehensive waterfront development. And in the end, the franchise looked to the Canadian government for help. That's why they're in BC Place now. That's what put them in a 15-year lease there, which is now expiring soon, with no new plan ready to go. As Vancouver comes to Cincinnati tonight, you may spot some Save the Caps banners being draped in Cincinnati's Bailey, as local fans are supporting efforts to keep the Caps in Vancouver. To be clear, demands were made of FC Cincinnati too, and the team agreed to a number of obligations in the neighborhood, paying $10 million to Cincinnati Public Schools to replace Stargell Stadium, along with the payments in lieu of taxes for the district. The club also committed to an educational partnership for students at Taft IT High School. Local leaders fought for their constituents, and the team negotiated for a deal. They came together for an agreement. The team built the stadium, and local government funded the supporting infrastructure. TQL Stadium opened just over 5 years ago, and yesterday we went over a number of ways that the FC Cincinnati Foundation continues its support of the West End. You've got things like youth soccer, sponsoring classrooms, food drives, over $700,000 alone in grant funding. And the development plans for that area in the West End are continuing to evolve. The team right now planning a more than $300 million mixed-use development. This is what it looks like today. I just checked it out, as FC Cincinnati right now is waiting to see if the state of Ohio will give it any money from the unclaimed funds account. That's a popular thing for teams to ask for these days. There is a court case still pending on that when it comes to the Browns getting more than $500 million. But this is the land just north of TQL Stadium. It's kind of a big hole that's been dug out. It is ready to go. But this is also what developer Rios says things will look like when it's all done. Everything that's sort of dug out there right now north of the stadium going to have a pair of 13-story mixed-use buildings, plans for apartments, condos, a hotel, office space, some other kind of entertainment venue, and a plaza. Cincinnati and Vancouver, a tale of two cities, if you will. That's your big bite. Coming up on the Working Lunch, we pivot back to the world of nonprofits with more of the work that's being done for kids here in this area. Bill Bresser is the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. He's my guest next. You're watching the Working Lunch on The Crown. Got some stocks of local interest for you. I think you should stick around.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the first word. Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the working lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First word for your morning sports. The working lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
My name is Jack Crumley. I've been covering news in Cincinnati on the radio for the last 20 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but Cincinnati has always felt like home since day one. I've seen so many things accomplished here, and now, with the working lunch, I get to write, read, and talk about them every day. Hard-working people with a drive and a dream. Innovative ideas that help shape this city. Cincinnati is a great city, and I'm excited to tell you about it every day.
My name is James Rapine, and I host First Word every weekday morning, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. Prior to joining the Crown Network, I covered the Bengals for Sports Illustrated for 6 seasons. I also am the founder of Cincinnati Bengals Talk on YouTube and wrote the book, Enter the Jungle, A History of the Cincinnati Bengals. Couldn't be more excited to join you every weekday morning for First Word right here on The Crown.
Hello, welcome back to The Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley, and I am joined now by Bill Bresser, the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. Bill, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I really enjoy being able to talk about all the work that all the nonprofits in this city do. There's such tremendous effort that's made to, improve lives for the sake of improving lives, helping people out when they need it. And for what you guys do for Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati, you guys have been going since 1939. Let's set the table here. 1939. You have like a dozen clubs, 7,000-ish kids every year or something like that. What kind of an impact do you have off the top of your head?
Yeah. So currently, it's actually 7 sites across Greater Cincinnati.
Yeah.
A couple in Northern Kentucky, one out in Claremont County,
Right.
Cincinnati proper. About 7,000 total youth served, about 2,500 actual members every year in a typical year. It's incredibly impactful.
And we're talking, various activities, free clubs, year-round, after-school stuff, summertime stuff. It's all like providing all sorts of programming for kids. What kind of variety of programming are we talking about?
Yeah, so gosh, it runs the gamut. And you're right, we're open Monday through Friday every night after school. We're open all summer long for 9 weeks. We double our hours in the summer to meet the needs of families.
Yeah, I mean, this is like your busy season right now.
Yeah,
you know?
it's very busy. And like you said, everything we do is completely free. And our program every night when kids come in, it's very structured. It's not like a rec center where it's just drop in and hang out. It's called Graduate, Fit for Life, Ready to Serve.
Yeah,
so
this is like you sort of developed this, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, years ago, back in 2010, we made that change to greater accountability. You know, we were more like a rec center. We did a bunch of sports programs and things like that. And I think people still think that's kind of what we do. And we do some athletics, but it's really youth development. So there's a strong academic component to what we do. You know, when I was a club director 20 plus years ago, I was like, well, half these kids aren't doing well in school. Why are we just playing basketball all night?
Yeah.
You know, we have a greater responsibility to them if they're going to be with us every night after school. So there's a strong academic component. Fit for Life isn't about creating athletes, but making sure everybody gets physically active every night. We serve snack and dinner every night across all of our sites. And then we do anti-bullying, self-esteem building programs, things like that. We do character and leadership development through community service. That's Ready to Serve. And of course, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we're talking, it's a whole range of ages, right? It's little kids up through teenagers.
Yeah, kindergarten through high school graduation.
That's Bill. That's such a tremendous range of personalities to deal with. And you're already talking about kids, and then you got to have staffing for it, and you got to have fundraising for it because it's all free for people. It feels like you're spinning a million different plates.
Yeah. I mean, it's a business. Nonprofits.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've talked to a lot of nonprofit folks. It is a business, and when people think of us, like they should, they think of the kids that we serve, and we have a tremendous staff. I mean, just amazing. They're the best people I've ever met in my life.
How many on staff?
So we've got about 85 to 90. We've grown the last few months on staff. So 4 full-time people at all of each of our individual sites. We maintain 1 to 15 staff to member ratios for quality and safety purposes. Yeah. I'm big on quality. It's got to be a quality program. You got to get something out of it. It can't be just drop in and hang out. But you're right, there's a whole fundraising team. I mean, we've got to make that happen for our kids every day. We got to keep it free for our families to break down those barriers. So we got a tremendous fundraising team and a tremendous board. I mean, that's the key to everything, is having really well-connected people who are really passionate about kids on your board. Yeah, and having all of those elements work together. You've got your staff. I assume there's a volunteer element to it also, and then working in concert with the board. That's a machine that has to be pretty well oiled. We've become very systems oriented the last several years. Yeah, putting systems in place to know everybody has their role, everybody knows their piece. And like you said, we've got a lot of volunteers as well. We're staff based, so if a volunteer doesn't show up at any of our sites today, we can still operate. But man, our volunteers are fantastic too. They help supplement everything that we do. So, and those volunteers probably run the gamut too, between like maybe high school kids that are looking to get extracurricular stuff done for college credit to adults that are volunteering their time. Yep, we do. We got great partnerships with, in particular, St. Xavier High School, which has been a pipeline for volunteers for decades for us. And we've actually gotten some board members through that process through St. X. But yeah, UC and Xavier students, they come and volunteer all the way up to folks who are retired and are looking to give back to their community in kind of a second act. So it runs the gamut for sure. I really like the idea that you're talking about. This isn't just like a drop them off and hang out kind of thing. You've got programming. You've got structures and systems in place, and specifically in those systems, one of the things that you guys have really sort of leaned into and developed recently is this youth workforce development. This is about pivoting a little bit from little kids still doing fun stuff for kids, but now offering something that's more practical for teenagers. Yeah, we all know teenagers are difficult to engage. What do you mean? They've got such a diverse array of interests, and it's tough to maintain. They can sign themselves out. If you're 7 years old, you're coming to the club, you're kind of with us all night, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool. But if you're 17, and especially if you've been coming to the club since you were 7, right? Maybe not quite as cool. We didn't have enough staff to engage our teens just a few years ago. We just went through this large campaign. to build this program out, because it takes more people to actually do this, and partners, and who manages those partners, you know?
Yeah, what are the elements of this?
Yeah.
It's specifically in Price Hill, or you've got a couple different ones now.
It's actually everywhere. So, but the home for it, you're right, is in Price Hill. So we built our the first ever in Ohio, freestanding youth workforce development center in Price Hill. It's right next to our Larry and Rhonda Shakely Club. So that's K through eighth grade now, high school across the street. But we built youth workforce development centers at all of our sites, into all of our sites. Couldn't build separate buildings everywhere, obviously. So we put our stake in the ground there in Price Hill with youth workforce development, but that program's running everywhere now. Yeah, and it's basically, you know, we're doing the Boys and Girls Club stuff, so making sure that they're on track to graduate. We're teaching financial literacy at all of our sites. We're having a lot of fun, making sure that we're incorporating things that they like gaming, music, and getting off site, things like that. But, you know, convening businesses, universities, trades, the military, every option for life after high school. We like to say, you know, it's not good enough just to take a college tour. I'm interested in what happens after that. It's not good enough just to go visit a trade school or have a demonstration done. What happens next? So we have to have enough people, think guidance counselors. Our guidance counselors at our schools have huge caseloads. How can we help them? How can we put all these options for life after high school in front of our high school students and then walk them through that process when they choose their path?
And this means actual interaction, right? I mean, you got to have people that are actually interacting, and then contacts with potential employers to come and make presentations to, show off, hand out literature, or, I mean...
Oh, yeah, all of it, all of it. I just had a group from TQL and the Weiler Automotive Group the other day. They got tours. We're renovating the Claremont County Club out there. We're doing youth workforce development there. That'll be open in the fall. I was telling them, look, if you've got a job, you can come and talk to our kids. Because, you know, a place like Weiler or TQL, people think about, well, they sell cars at Weiler. Of course they do, but it's not just salespeople. They've got HR department, they've got finance people, they've got mechanics.
Service technicians,
all kinds of stuff. And our kids just don't know. I didn't. You know, when I was a 14, 15, 16-year-old, I didn't know about all those different careers. It's our job as adults to teach them, to open those doors, to turn on that light for them. They're going to say eventually, I'm interested in doing something like that, and then we'll find that path for them.
And you're talking about working with something like the Weiler Automotive family, TQL. How important is then, this is something that we stress a lot on the show, we talked about it yesterday when Charlie Frank was on from the Reds Community Fund, being able to partner with companies and organizations in this area who are really interested in supporting the work that you guys do.
It's imperative. I mean, it is so imperative that we can't do it without them, simply put. I mean, there's no way. You know, we can do our program, but there's only so much we can do. We don't have all of that expertise. The community does. All those companies, all those people. Of course, we need the funding to make it go every single year. But we need those people to come in and say, hey, here are the options. Here are the things that we do at our company. And honestly, it makes our kids feel fantastic when they know, like, we've got all these different companies coming in that are interested in them. They're interested in their future, and it keeps them coming back. So it's multifaceted.
Yeah, I mean, how much of this, what you guys do, is just being able to see a kid, you know, maybe light up a little bit because somebody paid attention to them and did something with them specifically versus, you know, tossing a ball into a group and saying, go have fun for a while.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so we can't be that model. We can't just be like, well, we're going to sit and watch you guys play basketball all night. We'll do the fun stuff, you know, but we want to make sure you get something out of this. And, you know, kids gravitate toward that too. When you talk to our high school students, because we ask them all the time, what do you want to see in the program? And of course, they talk about gaming and getting off site and the fun things, but they'll often say things like, man, can you find me a job? Or you know, I really don't know what I'm going to do when I graduate, and maybe college isn't my path.
Is that where the workforce development came from? Was that kind of feedback?
That, and, you know, I've been there a long time, so some other staff, we knew. When we did surveys with our kids and with our families, and we look at our numbers, our academic numbers, you know, K through 8th grade, over 70% of our kids every year do better in reading and math. We know that through Ames Web assessments. And we know that over 85% of our students increase their social emotional competencies in those age groups. We saw fall off in the high school years for various reasons. So we need to be better in that space, and we are now. We're at the beginning of this, and it's exciting. It's fun. It is so fun to watch, you know, a kid walk in that door, not really know what they want to do, gravitate towards something, find a job. We found 41 high school students their jobs this summer, this past summer.
And we're only halfway through the summer.
We are, and it's going to grow. I mean, we're not quite open everywhere as far as youth workforce is concerned. We will be this fall. Avondale and, like I said, the Claremont County Club will come online this fall. But that number is going to grow.
Yeah, we got to talk about, you're talking about renovations, and you guys are in the middle of an incredibly impressive renovation plan. All of your sites getting attention in some way, right? And that to the tune of $50 million raised. So now that's ribbon cutting at, which spot is that?
Bangor.
Is that the Bangor?
Yeah, Bangor and Newport, yeah.
Bill, $50 million in a campaign. How in the world, is that something you presented to your board and said, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, it freaked a lot of people out. A youth development agency has never done anything like that before in Cincinnati. And in fact, I found out later that no Boys and Girls Club anywhere in the country had done anything like that.
And this isn't the first time you guys have set the standard for what the national model pays attention to.
That's right. I mean, so our model is based on quality programming and structure, and we are a model in that way. And we've taught a lot of the other organizations, Boys and Girls Clubs, how to do it that way. Yeah. But it's what we needed. Now, obviously, what you need and what you can actually pull off are sometimes different things. Sure. But we partnered with our friends at Ignite Philanthropy to help us, set the stage, so to speak, and figure out, look, is this actually possible? And at the beginning of it, it was $50 million. There's a path there, but it's a stretch. But we did it. We actually exceeded it. And again, that's a testament to the staff that we've got and the programs that we're running currently, and our incredible board.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're providing good programming that gets you good feedback, that helps kids out, and which then in turn feeds things for other businesses to say, hey, I know you got some good results out of this. How can I be a part of it? Yeah. Board members to go to people they know and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We've seen this kind of a response, but we want to build it into more. It feeds itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, one feeds the other. No one wants to give to a program that doesn't work or you're not financially responsible, right? And if it's working and you're financially responsible, people are going to want to give to you.
Yeah.
So you got to have both.
It's really impressive. A $50 million renovation capital campaign for Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. Congratulations on that. We got to take a break. But the good news is we're coming back. Bill Bresser is the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. More with him next. Stick around. This is the Working Lunch on the Crown.
What is The Crown? It's simple, really. Authentic Cincinnati entertainment. Not hot takes from a studio 3 states away. Not national noise pretending to know this city. Rather, bringing a voice to those who call the Queen City home. Where can I watch The Crown shows? Join us live from 7 to 11 a.m. for First Word and 12 to 1 for the Working Lunch on RESN. No live TV? No problem. Stream and interact with all of our content on major podcast, broadcast, and streaming platforms. The Crown is Cincinnati. Loud, passionate, competitive, proud. From early morning sports debates to the business leaders shaping the riverfront, to the fans, stories, moments, and culture that make this place move. Live shows, podcasts, documentaries, digital content built from Cincinnati, for Cincinnati. This is The Crown.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones. Just your typical 40-year-old Cincinnati girl. Although, no, I'm not married or divorced. I don't have any kids, and I don't live in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is the West Side, by the way. But what I do have is a lot of freaking time, and I've been using it well. So come along with me on this grand adventure, because I've been trying all the new shit around town that you need to know about. This is Nat Tries That.
My name's Jacob Tissett, and I'm a co-host of First Word from 7 to 11 every morning right here on the Crown Network, where we will break down the biggest stories in Cincinnati sports. I'm a graduate of the University of Alabama, where I spent 4 seasons working for the football team as a student assistant, contributing to the 2020 National Championship and 3 SEC championships. I'm a Cincinnati native, a St. Xavier High School graduate, and will bring a local perspective and passion to covering the Bengals, Reds, and everything in between. I'm excited to have you join us on First Word.
Hey, I'm Marissa Contapelli, one of the co-hosts on First Word and a features producer here on The Crown, where I will be out and about in Cincinnati bringing you the stories that you need to hear in the Queen City. Now, I know I'm from Cleveland, but I love my Cincy sports. I've been in Cincinnati for almost a decade now, spending the last 8 seasons with the Bengals as a team reporter and senior producer. I am so excited to be a part of the team here at The Crown, and I can't wait to bring you the latest from around the city.
Miss Asa, what are you most excited for this summer?
Going to the zoo.
I'm most excited about going to the pool and stuff because I don't really get to go to the pool that often. Yeah, I love swimming.
I'm excited about going swimming and going to the park.
I'm excited for the field trips, and I'm excited for to meet new people.
Play and go to hike to Miss Alyssa.
What are you most excited for, Miss Amanda?
Going swimming with the kids. And going outside, go to the park, you know, meeting all the new kids and stuff. Just experience the summer.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. Sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit here, seeing how sweet are those kids, Bill? How you get to see interactions and kids light up like that every day.
Yeah, like I said, I never left because I fell in love with the mission and the people that work here, and all those kids are talented. They're so talented. Not everybody has an opportunity, though, and that's where we come in.
That's really tremendous. Bill Bresser is the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. Been doing work since the late 30s. Mm-hmm. What has it been like for you to be at the helm of this organization? Because your trajectory, you started out as what, a part-time volunteer tutor?
Yeah. So I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated college. I graduated from UC. And was working in a restaurant, Christie's, Lenhart's in Clifton.
Okay,
and
sure.
That was the connection. Actually, one of the guys, Brian Lammers, who actually married the owner eventually of Christie's. He was a volunteer at a place called the SB Boys and Girls Club, and I said, "Man, I'd like to do that." And he said, "Yeah, come with me." And I did. And
so just on a whim.
On a whim. It was a complete whim. I came with him on like a random Tuesday. And just kind of found my own way there. I was tutoring, like you said, English and math, 2-3 days a week. I'd stay for a couple hours, and their education director left. I wasn't looking for a job, I was just trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do in the world, and that tutoring was fun. But they offered me a job, and I thought, well, I'll do this for a couple years, maybe look good on a resume, and so figure out what it is I want to do with my life, and that was 23 years ago. and I never left. The goal wasn't to become, the executive director of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
But here I am. Yeah.
I mean, that's such a from mail room to the boardroom kind of story, and I love how it's such a specific testament to just like these kids who come there and they find engagement and they grow from it. You as a volunteer came there and found engagement and grew from that.
Yeah. Oh, it's enriched my life in ways that It's indescribable.
Yeah.
It really is when you get involved with something like the Boys and Girls Clubs, a cause like that. And our staff would say the same, and so would our board. It was just something I never wanted to leave. It just kind of got into you, and you were like, well, this is such a wonderful place. I think I can do some good here. I'd like to be part of this. I mean, you're part of something much bigger that actually really matters. I mean, I've seen it work. I wouldn't have been here this long if it didn't work. I'd go find something else to do. But I don't want to find anything else to do. This is what I want to do. And when the opportunities presented themselves for me to throw my hat in the ring and try to get promoted, I did. And the board took a chance on me 8 years ago to become the CEO, and it's been quite a ride.
Yeah, what have you, in terms of your position now as CEO for the last 8 years, and having an executive leadership role in this, what are some of the things that you noticed and learned in your trajectory up from tutor into your career path within the organization to now running it? What do you bring to the table that you learned over those 13 plus years before?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I know what it's like to be on the ground in the clubs every day.
Yeah.
I know what a lot of our kids are going through. Of course, I didn't grow up that way, but when you work in the clubs, you work in direct service for many years, you can relate to the staff. You understand the challenges, not just that the kids have. That's really important, but that we had as an organization trying to meet those needs.
Yeah.
And being promoted to CEO, I'm in a position now to solve that. And that was really interesting to me.
Well, and being in the position of CEO to solve that, and then also things that you have done, and we talked about this before, initiatives that you've got and separations and tiers that you have systems in place for have been adopted by the national model. So you're solving problems for boys and girls clubs proper.
Yeah, we really have. We helped a lot of organizations and trained them on how to implement our model, our structure, how to train. Our continuous quality improvement process that we go through every year to just get a little bit better. We've implemented now EOS, an entrepreneurial operating system, and we're working with a facilitator to roll that out across all of our sites to help all of our management become more, again, systems oriented and focused on quarterly rocks that then lead up into year-long goals and long-term goals. Yeah. And that's how we move the ball forward for our kids.
We had the video that played right when we came back from break about the kids talking about what they were looking forward to in terms of summer stuff. This is sort of the busier season, I assume, right? This it now is. Versus wintertime when at least kids are in school. It's all day. It's go go go.
It is, yeah. So during the school year, obviously we're open after school for 5 hours, and we're busy. For sure, but in the summertime, it's 8 hours a day, and it is go go go. We're off site a lot of field trips, a lot of fun, a lot of experiential learning opportunities. The summer learning loss phenomena is more pronounced in kids who live under the poverty level, and that's the majority of the kids that we serve, and that's the goal, is to try to bridge that gap between school years.
Having had the longevity that you've had, what was it like seeing kids and trying to do after-school activities and whatnot during COVID? That had to have been a whole other challenge and frustration.
That was about a year into my tenure as CEO.
Yeah, welcome.
And that was a big challenge. We were only closed for 6 weeks when everything had to close. Yeah. And it was a scary time because we had to cut all the staff just like everybody else did. Like, we weren't open. Like, what do you do? Luckily, we didn't lose anybody. Everybody came back. We'd be able to tap into some of the government programs, the PPP loan to pay. But we were only closed for 6 weeks. So we opened that summer of COVID.
Thank goodness.
In a limited capacity. And then during the school year, when the schools went virtual, we were open. We doubled our hours. We bought more devices, because what we were running into is you've got a parent with 2 kids and 1 device, and they had to go to work. Like 70% of our kids come from single parent households. It's usually mom. She's got to go to work. Like, what am I supposed to do? Well, we were a virtual school.
Yeah, well, and also still trying to maintain those connections and some kind of interaction and some kind of feeling as though you're making a connection with someone.
Yeah, the social aspect of it was really challenging. It's challenging for a lot of our kids. I mean, they didn't have any social interaction. Luckily, there were places like Boys and Girls Clubs that were still open, but we still had the social distance. There wasn't as many kids as there were. We couldn't take as many. But it was a very challenging time. Well, for the entire world, not just for us, but for the entire world. And even fundraising. I mean, you raise money by doing this. You give tours. Yeah. You know, you go to lunch. You have discuss. You couldn't do any of that.
So just trying to talk to people. Yeah. In terms of being the executive for Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati, you said you've got clubs in Ohio and also some on the Kentucky side of the river. Yep. Are there any weird challenges trying to run this organization and dealing with the ways 2 different states are set up or anything like that?
No, I mean, there's a little bit. I mean, it's almost all on the funding side where money is earmarked for specific sites. You can only spend it in a specific state. But again, we've got systems in place for all of that. No, it's not really that challenging. I mean, look, Northern Kentucky is like the south side of Cincinnati, right? So
don't tell them.
No, I know. But no, we've got great partnerships over there with all the school districts and a lot of businesses over there. Our Binger Club and our Chase and Cole Fisher Club in Covington, they're packed. Those clubs are filled to the gills with kids every day.
Yeah, do you see any sort of difference in need between the 2 states or interests in programming on one side or the other? No real compare contrast there. Kids are kids.
No, you're right. Kids are kids. I mean, we could probably open 40 new sites, honestly.
Yeah.
We're just scratching the surface of need. I mean, our clubs are full. You know, we want to keep them that way, but we're always looking to what's the next opportunity.
In terms of fundraising, because I know it's sort of a constant thing, and again, $50 million for this renovation project is nothing short of spectacular. But in terms of fundraising and, you know, obviously partnerships with different companies and organizations in town is huge. But because Boys and Girls Club has been around since the late 30s, is that in some ways a challenge for you because maybe people take it for granted versus something that's newer or flashier?
Yeah, you know, that really hasn't been my experience. It's actually been kind of the opposite. That, hey, this is something that's an institution and it needs to stay. And, you know, the people that give us money, that help us out, they don't have to give us a dime, but they see that it works. They know that it's reputable, that we've been here forever, and they see who's involved and who's on our board, and they get behind it. So it's actually, I think it's helped us. Yeah.
Well, it's reputation, and clearly you have built on that, and you're influencing the way that the national organization is run. If there is somebody who's a business owner, somebody with an organization, somebody with maybe a couple of kids that they're looking to involve in some programming here, and we are in the summertime, what's the best contact for that? Just go to the website?
Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it. Go to the website, bgcgc.org. That's a little tricky.
Which would be Boys Girls Club Greater Cincinnati, BGCGC.
Yes.
That's a club in New York and down by the Village, I think, that closed down a few years ago.
Yeah, it was the CBG. BGCGC.org. But Boys Girls Clubs Greater Cincinnati. Just go to our website. You can Google Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati. It'll take you there. You can sign up to volunteer. You can donate through the site. You can see all of our great programs. There's contact information. So that's the best way to get connected.
Tremendous amount of opportunity, tremendous ways to give. Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati making some real difference in people's lives. Bill Bresser's the CEO. Bill, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
Really glad having you here. We are going to take a break. We've got more Working Lunch on the other side of that break, so you should stick around.
Cincinnati, Ohio. We welcome you from Cincinnati, Ohio. Nick had with the fan favorite to put it away. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Oh, what a catch. Cincinnati can't score. What a scores and the Reds win.
Cincinnati sports fans are the best. Loyal, passionate, second to none. This city lives and breathes sports, and now it finally has a morning show to match. I'm James Erpine, and this is First Word, the only morning sports show in Cincinnati and the place where every day starts We break down the biggest moments and set the agenda for the city. Marissa Contepelli and Jacob Tissett join me to bring the insight and energy you need to start your day. The conversation starts with First Word. First Word, weekdays 7 to 11, part of the Crown Network.
This is the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritchner. Your home for college basketball in the Cincinnati area and across the country every Monday through Friday during the season. Previews, recaps, breakdowns, interviews, and more. You can find it all right here. Your one-stop shop for a quick dose of college hoops on your morning commute. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, a Cincinnati native, and I have been in media for about 10 years now. Formerly on the radio here in Cincinnati, I grew my love and obsession with finding all things fun in Cincinnati and have now made it my life. I'm originally from the West Side here, and then I've pretty much been a downtown girl ever since college. But I did leave for 7 years, and during that time, I really grew and harnessed and cut my teeth doing stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, learning how to ski in Colorado, and now I'm back here in Cincinnati, driven by curiosity and grounded by family.
I'm Paul Fritchner. I'm a 2019 graduate of Xavier University, and I've been covering college basketball for 10 years here in the Cincinnati area. I'm the host of the Rebound Rundown, a daily college basketball podcast during the season and a weekly show in the off-season covering everything you need to know about your favorite team. And if you're not a fan of a team here in Cincinnati, I have you covered from the national perspective as well. Follow it on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. Wrapping up the show, got a couple of things that I wanted to put on your radar that got on mine. First off, you've probably heard about this. The proposed merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers is a deal that's been in the works. It's been talked about for a number of weeks. There's legal action on it. A lot of people concerned, a lot of people in favor of it, and a lot of people are concerned. This week, a federal judge ordered a temporary stop to that merger. There is a coalition of states, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana not included in that coalition. They are suing, arguing that the merger would violate federal antitrust law, leading to higher prices and fewer movies and TV shows, hurting consumers. Check out that. I like how Paramount has a water tower. Certainly Warner Brothers has their own water tower, and I don't know what one would do to combine those once those two, if and when those two companies come together. The judge granting a 14-day restraining order for now, but it's really going to come down to whether or not there's an injunction. That 14-day restraining order could be extended for about a month. There is a hearing in early August on it. A spokesperson says that the merger, from Paramount's perspective, the merger is lawful, pro-competitive, and will benefit consumers, creators, workers, and the entertainment industry. It's people arguing in favor of a merger between these two extremely large entertainment companies. When it comes to antitrust cases, the injunction is usually when the game gets decided, because if it's not granted, the deal can go through and it becomes almost impossible to unwind later on. So it's really going to be about the injunction. We could find that out here in about a month or so, but it's probably going to drag out a little bit, likely into the fall. Paramount has pushed for a hearing with live witnesses. The company hoping to get a ruling on the injunction by early September. If the deal's not closed by the end of September, Paramount's going to start to owe millions of dollars a day to Warner Brothers investors because of what the structure of the deal is itself. The court's deciding on their own timeline. In other tower news, this is the through line on the show today. Let's take a look at this. That is the Popeyes Tendy Tower. So this isn't necessarily a specific thing that Popeyes is selling. That's a picture of the upgraded Popeyes chicken tenders in a tower form as part of a promotion out in the Hamptons. Because certainly nothing says spending summer in the Hamptons like getting fried chicken tenders from Popeyes. That's a wild sentence to say those words in that order here in 2026. Popeyes has been having a rough go of it. You may remember a 6.5% loss in same-store sales the first quarter of this year. That's the worst report in nearly 20 years for Popeyes. A number of Popeyes franchises have closed because they're really struggling. So Popeyes took things back to the drawing board and really worked on improving quality, focusing on the tenders. They've got this promotion going on right now, a national delivery offer through July 27th, in which you can get 11 tenders, 1 large side, and 4 biscuits for $25 to be delivered. If you go through DoorDash or Uber Eats, you can get the same deal. If you dine in the restaurant, you get it for $20. 11 tenders, 1 large side, and 4 biscuits for $20. I guess that sounds okay. Check out Popeyes. Love that hottie sauce. That's our show. We got to wrap it up. This is The Working Lunch. My name is Jack Crumley. We're back tomorrow as this week rolls on. You're watching The Crown.